Next is we have financial functions. This is actually a list of functions that you could see either in your financial calculator, but it's also useful in computing, let's say, mortgages, your payments. So let's go through these functions. Okay, so we have first FV. FV is actually the future value. So we have, we specify a rate, and then this many payments, how many payments, and then of each payment, so how much is each payment, and then your starting value. So for this one over here, what we're having is, let's say you're trying to compute the interest rate. Okay, and then you deposited, let's say, $1,000, and you placed it for 2 years. So FV, or the future value formula, can do it for you. So what we're specifying over here, first one is the rate. So that's 10%. Next is B2. Okay, like how many payments, or how many, what's the duration? So we're saying here is 2 years, so which is why we're passing 2 over here. Next one is each payment. We're not like depositing each year, so that's 0. And then your starting capital is $1,000. For FV, actually the value needs to be negative for the output to become positive. Okay, we're passing the values over here, and it will give you 1,210. So it's like it's telling you that you have earned $210 in interest, and it has compounded it for you. So let's try it out. FV, give it the rate first. The number of periods, or how many times, like number of years, so that's 2. There's no like yearly payments, so that's 0. And then the present value, or the starting capital that you have, and you place it here, and it gives you 1,210. So it's pretty cool because you could just try it out and play with the numbers. Let's say, hey, what if I place it for 10 years? And you would get the amount instantaneously. Next is NPV. NPV tells you, it stands for the net present value. So NPV, you place in the rate, so let's say the interest rate, and then a list of payments. So the list of payments would tell you that I'm making payments, let's say 100 in year 1, 100 in year 2, 100 in year 3, and then given the interest rate of 10%, what is the total value at this point in time, or more of like today? Because of course, like $100 in the future would be worth less as compared to $100 that we have in the present. Okay, because this is because of the time value of money. Okay, so when you say $100, we're paying it over 3 years. It doesn't mean that it's $300. If you convert it to a net present value, then it will give you a smaller amount. Okay, so what we simply pass over here is the rate, and then we're passing in a list or a range of values. Okay, so in PV, give it a rate first. You could pass it this way instead of giving it a range, and it gives you $248. So which means that this payments in the future would be worth $248 right now, given an interest rate of 10%. Okay, next is PMT. PMT is actually useful for calculating the payments that you're making, let's say on your mortgage. This is pretty useful. So what you're specifying is at this rate, again, the rate, how many payments, and for this much amount. So just to give you an example, we have this one. Let's say you have a mortgage of, it has an interest rate of 10%. You're spreading it over 30 years, and then you have a loan of $1 million. Okay, so what it does is we pass in the rate first, how many payments, let's say how many years in this case, and then what is the loan amount or the capital that you're loaning. So it's telling you that for each year you need to pay $106,000. Okay, so let's try it out over here. 10%, and then the number of years, and the capital. Okay, so it gives you 106,000 for each year. And the good thing with this one is you can play around with the numbers. Let's say I don't want a longer loan, I just want it to pay in 10 years. And it will automatically give you that, hey, you need to pay 162,000 per year to pay this off. And the good thing with this one is, let's say, just to give you an idea of the amount of interest you're paying, you could just type in this one. And then let's multiply it. Since you're paying this for 30 years, this is actually the amount that you paid over the course of the loan. That's the total amount. And it's surprising that how big of a difference it is with your starting capital, which is $1 million. So it's just something to think about. You can use this one to like give you a preview of how much you're paying. PPMT. So this is similar. This is related to the PMT formula from a while ago. So we're specifying the rate, okay, on this payment out of this many payments and for this specific amount. So just to show you an example, is we're using the same parameters, 10% for your the rate you're paying, 30 years for the mortgage, and you're loaning $1 million. Okay, so what you're seeing over here is we're specifying the rate first, and then this one is actually which period of payment are you interested to have Excel compute. Okay, so what Excel would give you for PPMT is the amount that goes to paying the principal. Okay, because there's two amounts actually. There's two amounts. One amount is going towards the interest for paying the interest to the bank, and another one is going towards the principal, which is the $1 million that you want to pay off. Okay, so what we're saying here is compute the amount of principal that I'm paying on year number 1. Next is, this is the number of years or how many payments, so that's 30. And followed by your starting loan amount, which is, or the capital, which is $1 million. Sorry, so what it's saying is you're only paying actually $6,000 towards the principal, which is kind of surprising. Because if you look over here a while ago, it's saying that you need to pay $106,000, okay, for each year. And on the first year, actually, you're only paying $6,000 out of this $106,000. Okay, so if we try it out over here, so whoops, that's PPMT. Rate. We want to get the first year, number of periods, and the capital or the starting value, and it gives you 6,000. Okay, so you could just change the values. Let's say I want the second year, how much am I paying towards the principal, and it's starting to like go up. Because as you go through the years, more and more cash is paid towards the principal and less is paid towards the interest. So by year 30, actually most of the amount that you're paying is already going towards the principal. Okay.